Hey, my pipples. So this is part 2 of crafting time, making the tree of life wreath for my front door. So watch part 1 because I'm not going to catch up. I think I have the tree figured out. And I don't want anybody to say anything about this table because it's our crafting table and it's stained. So I took my wreath that I wrapped with the dark brown burlap. And then what I did was I unraveled one side of the rope, untwirled it, and then I attached it, and then I put it out to about the shape I wanted it, cut it, and then these are all just tacked on. None of these are glued permanently in place. They are literally little tacks of glue, so if I don't like it, I can pop it up before I decide exactly where they're going to be. So I pretty much figured out where I want my branches. I do want it off center because there's going to be a big thing going here. Now I want my trunk a little substantial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay 3 of the pieces together and I'm going to glue here so it holds them flat. And then this one's going to go on top. That way it will hold it tight so I can wrap the rest of the rope around it. This is actually coming together. English is hard. It's also 2:30 in the morning. This is coming together better than I had hoped or anticipated without having to do it 3 or 4 times. This is actually my first attempt. Now I took a single strand of the rope and used it to tie it together in 3 spots to hold it the way I want it. Now I'm just going to take my glue gun and run a bead of glue down that seam. Now I'm not going to go to the very ends, so that I have a little bit of wiggle room yet for doing the wrapping. Now I do want the trunk to flare out a little bit, so I slipped this knot up a little bit. I unglued this one, popped it off. See, that's why you only use little tacks of glue. And I'm going to move it over to like here so that my trunk will flare out a bit, about like that. So to fill out the trunk, I took 2 other pieces, put them up underneath, glued them together, and then glued them at the bottom. That should give me enough structure to be able to wrap it without much of an issue. But first thing I want to do is flip it over and see if that's where the placement is I want. I do know this is smaller than this side because something is going right here. I like it. Time to wrap. So to give you an idea of what I'm doing, I took one of these strands, one of these pieces of rope, and I separated it into its 3 ply. So 1, 2, 3. I glued it onto the back and then I wove it around each one of the branches. Then I wrapped it around once and then went over the other way over the branches. So I'm out of time, so I will come back in a minute and explain the wrap better.